What's going on, guys? It's Brandon back here. And game two against the New Jersey Devils in New Jersey. October 15th, 6 p.m., the Hawks played them. And they got up their first point of the season. Should it have been more? Yes, it should have been. Hawks lose 4-3 in overtime to New Jersey. And now they're staying at 0-1-1, fourth in the Central. And they were outshot 29-27, out-hit 17-15, face-offs 29-27, they won. So at least they did something in face-offs. They were good on the power play, going 2 for 4, and New Jersey went 0 for 2. Lankinen saved 23 out of 27. Bernier saved 26 out of 29. Now, why do I sound a bit sarcastic? Because Chicago should have won this game. The entire game, except for the first 5 minutes, Chicago dominated. Chicago dominated this game basically from 5 minutes in to finish and still couldn't get the job done. Not to mention they were down by 2 and needed a sixth attacker to tie it. On a brighter note, both teams took time at the start of the game to do a tribute to Jimmy Hayes, who played for both New Jersey and Chicago. He passed away last summer. I did a video on him. And so that was nice for both teams to do in spite of them. Lankinen played tonight. Lankinen played yesterday. Fleury's going to play tonight against Pittsburgh. Gustafsson was in. Mitchell was out. Gaudette was in. Carpenter was out. So there were some switches up in the lineups. So at the first period, at 19:43, 17 seconds in on the first shot of the game, there's a goal from New Jersey. It's Dougie Hamilton living up to his $9 million contract already from Graves and Bratt to make it 1-0. And yeah, that was not how I expected the game to started. Doc had his helmet off, and he tried to get off, and then Subban wouldn't let him, and it wasn't a penalty, which was annoying to begin with. But that was the only problem I saw with the refs. The refs were good. I'll give them that. Yesterday, the refs were good, and I'm not going to blame them for any reason, like I did against Colorado. New Jersey was keeping control, and then the momentum switched with the New Jersey penalty to Hamilton for slashing. It would be killed, but that penalty would set the standard for the rest of the night. The puck was in the crease for about 10 seconds, and it did not go in at around 12:27. It was flying around. Hawks were just trying to pound it past Bernier, and no matter where they hit it, it just would not go in. It was bouncing through the crease 2 or 3 times, and it just would not happen. Then Lankinen saved a breakaway and made some good stops early. Mercer laid a big hit on Johnson. Both teams were very physical early. Both teams were pretty physical tonight. And although the hits don't show it, visually watching, that's another thing. Visually watching is a lot different than the stats. Stats show what happened during the game. Visually watching, you see who had the puck most of the time, who is getting the chances, the opportunities that might have not counted as shots, not hits, face-offs, goals, assists, whatever. You see these things. And again, not like Colorado, where Colorado dominated, and you could tell Chicago was clearly shouldn't even been in the same building as Colorado. Chicago should have ran away with this game and just didn't. Bernier was playing great. I'll give credit to Bernier. Bernier played a great game. And Doc was hit. Hagel had a good hit on Heishier. With 5.4 seconds left. I couldn't say that for whatever reason. New Jersey was a New Jersey penalty to high sticking to Kukkonen. At 19:04, it's a power play goal in the second period. As we move to the second, the power play carried over from Alex DeBrincat from his first of the year from Tyler Johnson and Patrick Kane to make it 1-1. And then Kubalik makes a diving breakup of the puck, which could have made it 2-1 quickly into New Jersey, but Kubalik made a great move. McCabe had a huge hit. Devils and fans weren't happy about it. At 16:55, Chicago penalty to Johnson for interference. It was killed. DeBrincat had a good chance. It was shorthanded, but it was saved. Bernier made a good save on Borgstrom. And then Subban on that power play was barking for the puck. And when he finally got the puck, he just whiffed on it, and that was one of the funniest things that I saw last night. Bratt was hit by Jones pretty good. Lankinen made a good save. DeBrincat and Kane had a 2-on-1 that was saved. And at 6:37, it's a penalty to Connor Murphy for tripping. Stillman was getting very physical. He's the most physical presence that Hawks have right now. I like the way he's been playing. Um, McCabe also had almost scored an own goal, and that was a moment where I would have about thrown my book at the wall and just stopped taking notes. But Lankinen was sharp. Thankfully for Lankinen, he was there to stop it. At 2:02, then there was a goal to New Jersey. It was Jack Hughes from Kukunen to make it 2-1. And then right before that, they had hit the post, which Lankinen had a big save, but they get out of the period and it's 2-1. Then going into the third at 19:44, the New Jersey penalty to Bratt for roughing. Entwistle hit the post, and then at 13:26, that penalty, by the way, was killed. At 13:26, New Jersey, it's a goal to New Jersey to make it 3-1. It's Andreas Janssen from Tatar and Mercer. Mercer had a good game for New Jersey, I will say. But he did pretty much cost them the comeback and gave Chicago a point. So I also thank you, Mercer. It was off the post. It was a scramble, and Janssen was out in front, and he just banged it in. Not really much Lankinen could do there. Heischer hit the post after that, and then there was a scrum at 11:29. Johnson and Doc switched spots on the first and third lines. I took note of Doc showing that he could move up in the lines, and he was playing well. Doc got hit pretty good. And then at 7:11, there's a New Jersey penalty to Mercer. This is where it flipped. The momentum completely flipped. Like Chicago was playing really well, and then it flipped in Chicago's favor massively. As Mercer takes a high sticking penalty on Dahan, and there's blood. It wasn't Dahan. That was a different high sticking penalty. It was Johnson who had blood. So it's a 4-minute power play for the Chicago Blackhawks. And Lankinen kept going up and down the bench every time there was a face-off. The power play looked much better on the second half. The first 2 minutes, it looked horrible. But the second half, they started getting good chances. And then every face-off, as I was saying, Lankinen came back just to make sure the Hawks would win. And they couldn't have a chance to let in an empty netter when they had a chance to tie it. And then on the power play, at 3:53, it's Kirby Doc from Kane and Johnson, both getting their second assist of the game to make it 3-2. Doc had been playing really well these last 2 games. It's good to know he finally got one, and we'll see if this leads to more for him. McCabe barely saves a breakaway, and then at 25.5 seconds left in the third period, it's a goal from Dominic Kubalik, his second of the year, from Hagel, and Seth Jones to make it 3-3. They were pressuring, they had full control, and they had got it. So Jones gets his first point as a Blackhawk, Kubalik showing he's 2 for 2 in games with goals. And yeah, the Hawks I'm thinking we're going to win this in overtime. We're going to get 2 points. We're going to complete the comeback. And then there was a late hit by Hagel, which wasn't a penalty, but the fans didn't like it, and the Devils were barking at the refs. You could hear them on the ice. And then we go to overtime, and at 4:03 of overtime, it's a goal. It's New Jersey's Jack Hughes at the second of the season. And he went around Kane, he went around Lankinen, went around Gustafsson, and yeah, that pretty nifty goal by Jack Hughes, and it was a good goal, I will say. He made some pretty good moves there. The Hawks get their first point of the season. They go to 0-1-1, as I stated previous. The stats here are not including Buffalo and Arizona are playing right now, so that's not included here. Chicago is 4th in the division. Anything else if you want to see the most wackiest things of the season? You got the Islanders in last place. Boston, because they haven't played a game yet, in 7th place. Tampa has allowed 12 goals in 2 games. Detroit had 2 3-0 leads and still lost to Tampa. Well, 2 3-goal leads. Florida hasn't played a game yet. Actually, they did. They beat Pittsburgh. Toronto is 1-1. Ottawa's 1-0, who beat Toronto. Buffalo is leading the division. That's not going to last for long. Arizona's last as expected. They're playing Buffalo right now, so they might jump. Anaheim's in 3rd. They lost to Minnesota 2-1 last night. Anaheim's been playing really well. I've been watching bits and pieces. They've been playing pretty well, so they might surprise us this year. Only 2 teams that don't have a point in the Pacific haven't played a game yet. Seattle gets their first win over Nashville, and yeah, it's pretty much all the news that I have for today. So, another BFR tomorrow. Chicago's playing Pittsburgh at 6 o'clock tonight, Central Time. And Yeah, that's really all I have for you guys today. So thank you guys for watching. Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. What are you surprised about this season so far? And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.